Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Maulana Muhammad Al-Ghifari and this is my video assignment for interpretive listening about identifying bias and stance in speech. But before I get into the topic, I want to explain about what is bias and what is stance. Now, bias is basically a way of someone not or trying to persuade you to their side by twisting the truth. And what I mean by that is they cherry pick facts, or they compare one or the other of whether it's a person or an idea or a point of view, and that is unfair, so to say. And what I mean by unfair is when someone is describing one thing so like greatly but doesn't really explain everything about the others. Even in their explanation of that something great, they are more or less exaggerating what they are saying or what is the truth of what they're saying. And for the example of bias in speech, let's take the presidential or maybe an election of a mayor. That one speaker is very, very in favor of a certain candidate, where he is in his speech or deliberately making him look good without explaining what is bad about him, without explaining everything about him, whether it's his past, whether it's his current conditions, whether it's everything that could hinder his argument on why this guy is the best candidate. Like maybe he's saying, oh, this guy is one of the best businessmen in the world. He will take this country into the best country ever, without explaining why. Why is he the best one, even if he's just a businessman? And maybe he's not like covering the fact that the business that that man is owning is always failing, basically. Maybe it's a store, maybe it's a casino, maybe it's anything. And yet, he's not mentioning it at all. He's mentioning that it is a very fatal flaw of his as a businessman, and yet he is bringing up the fact that he is a businessman in order to twist his way into persuade the listeners into thinking that this is the best side. Now, for stance, this is where people actually show where they stand on a problem or a topic, and that basically means that they are speaking deliberately. What I mean is basically being transparent in what they're saying and what is the truth, and basically why they are the right ones, without twisting any truths at all, without using half truths, without any of that. But you can identify this basically by when someone is in a persuasive way of speaking, like, this is the best way to do this, this is how we need to do this thing, this is the best solution for all of this. And for example, for this is about climate change, where someone is giving a speech about climate change. Of course, we're going to talk about climate change is one of the worst problems that we have right now, and we are currently one of the cores of that problems. And what I mean by we is us, the people. And of course, that is a pretty bold statement from the speaker, and yet it doesn't stop the speaker from speaking about it, no matter if it's endangering his position of persuading the audience. he's basically being transparent about his stance about the topic. He is being deliberate on how he thinks about these certain problems. And the things that is differentiating between a stance and bias is that one is twisting truths and cherry picking evidence and using exaggerated comparison in order to persuade someone. And then one is speaking deliberately, transparently, with facts, with arguments, and actively stay in one side of the argument. Sorry. And that both of these can be detected with tone, especially bias, where people seems to use sarcasm or mockery or, like I said, exaggerated uh, like compliments. That is when you need to be aware that someone is injecting their bias into their speech. While someone who is uh, speaking about their stance on a topic, they are using facts, they are being transparent, they are not being at all biased about it, they are speaking from what they truly think, and not just because they favor someone because maybe a race or a religion or maybe someone they know or maybe they're responsible for it. No, they only speak on what on their mind is. And that is all I have to say. I'm very sorry if there's any mistakes in this video where it's in explanation or in grammar. And that is all I have to say. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.